everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. So I have done an unboxing video. So I showed you everything that I got. I didn't get everything that we were able to get. I got close, but not everything. There were a few things that I didn't get yet. Not many, but almost everything. So I do have that video, and I will put the link to it underneath this video if you're watching on YouTube. So if you want to see everything I got, you can go back over. Now this is the first card that I make. Usually, I will be honest, I go back later and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't the best, because I'm always not in a hurry, but I just literally saw the stuff, and as I'm going through the box, I'm like, excuse me, I'm going to use that first, and then I'm like, no, I'm going to use that first, and then, oh, no, I'm going to use that first, and it's always something, usually that's different. I did tell you in the video, I'm not going to use that first because I don't want to do anything that is too incredibly different. There was one year I did when we had one of the first bottle things, and we do have a bottle thing this year, and I didn't know how to put it together, and I also had a migraine that day, and still to this day, it's one of my #1 viewed videos on YouTube, and I messed the heck out of that card. Because I had taken migraine medicine and I still had a migraine, but I was determined to power through and get it done. And still people watch that video today. And I'm like, please don't watch this. It was a mess. So now at least I do things that are simpler. So it's a simple card. It's pretty. And like I said, I'll go back later and think, why didn't you do this with it or this with it? But I know you all like simple cards. And so this really showcases a couple of new products. And then I've mixed in a couple of old products because we didn't have a lot of selection of ribbon. And we didn't have a lot of selection of embellishments. But my very favorite thing when I unboxed is on this card. So I'm showing you some stuff from the new annual catalog, 22-23. Starts in May. Unless you're a demonstrator, then we could order a few things now. We can't order everything out of the annual catalog. When we do our mini catalogs, they let us order whatever we want because it's a much smaller catalog. But the people in the warehouse would go stark raving mad if they had to have all of this plus what's all currently in the annual catalog out at the same time. So we just get a select product of this. One of the things was this that's on the cover, and I will get to that. But I'm kind of waiting because I'm fairly certain, unless they tell us there's an inventory issue with it, that this will be my first class. So every Monday we have a Zoom meeting with them. So I'm hoping that if there's any inventory issues, we might find that out today. If you need a catalog, let me know. If you're in Card Club, remember you have till the 10th to do the add-ons. And if you're interested in my Card Club, and I'll be talking more about Try It class that's coming up for registration, but not in this video. So join my email list, head over to my website, and all the pertinent information for everything upcoming is there. So I'm going to use Nature's Prints. It does have its own paper. I think it has a folder. I don't know if it has any ribbon or embellishments. I haven't taken time to look at it because I got the first video up. Then I'm going to do this one. Then I'm going to do a color comparison video with our new in colors. And then I'm going to try to get one more video because this is also my tax week. So I'm going to do taxes. Then I'm going to, we'll work on taxes, then take a video break. And then I'm going to work on taxes and then I'm going to take a video break. That's what I have scheduled for this whole entire week. So fun and dread, and then fun, and then dread, and then fun and dread. That's my week. So I've planned it this way for the whole year. So I'm using Nature's Prints, and I'm going to use the dies. Then the thing that I most like, hang on, let me get the whole packet of it, is this new specialty paper. I am a huge fan of specialty papers. My online retreat, we just used, that was the theme, specialty papers. Every card had at least one. Some of them had 2 or 3 specialty papers on it. Because when you use a specialty paper, the amount of work that you have to do is so minimal because the paper is beautiful. And so between with our dies and our stamps and the techniques that you can or can't do with them, because you can just put it on there. Not going to do a technique with this. This paper is stunning. It comes in navy and succulent. And I was torn. You're going to see was torn and Blushing Bride. Should I use the succulent or should I use the Blushing Bride? So I chose the Blushing Bride, and then I ended up using succulent as the color. I was just going to use Blushing Bride, but then I ended up needing a green, so I went with succulent. So it's called Brushstroke Specialty Paper. Here's the Blushing Bride. It's so pretty. It's kind of like wallpaper-ish, maybe from like the 40s or the 30s, really fancy. It's got a shimmer, definitely has a pattern to it, one-sided, because you'd never want to cover this side up. So I have Blushing Bride, and then Blushing Bride. It's one of my favorite colors. It's literally the color of my bride's dress. It had an overlay of lace, so this was the undercolor, but I like it because it's the color of my bride's dress. And then my very favorite specialty paper of all time is shimmer paper. So I'm going to do, this is where I was going to do everything in Blushing Bride, and then I was like, I need some, I just decided to go with green. It was just, I thought it was going to be too pink to just do it all in Blushing Bride. So I'm going to take my Soft Succulent, I'm going to stamp. And I also like to use little pieces of scrap when I make cards myself. And you can see, because like I'm in a hurry, I'm not going to keep looking for little scraps. I'm going to try to get a lot done today. So I just pulled out a whole sheet of shimmery white, which I don't recommend that for you unless you're starting with a new package. So look how beautiful this stamps. I want you to see this before I cut it up because it's going to kind of get buried a little bit. Freshly painted table, ladies. Those of you that were in retreat when I stamped straight on it, I told you my husband was going to paint it. And it never gets all the way painted because it's a work table. Isn't that pretty? So, so pretty. And it does have a fern in it. It's a really pretty set. Now I'm going to take my Blushing Bride. And some people say it's brown. I don't think it's brown. I don't even think it has a brown tinge. Maybe a little dusty kind of tinge, but I don't think it stamps brown at all. I'm going to do the, it's a really pretty font, really nice sentiments. I'm just going to do hello there. Although this ended up kind of looking like a wedding card, and I think there is one that could be used for a wedding. So for this one, this frame is going to go on my die thing that I keep at the table with me, because I have one where it's just dies that I can use on all cards because it's beautiful. Wait till you see the beveled edge that it gets. See, this is why I like to use little pieces, so don't waste all this. Got that. Then this is going to cut out. And then there's all these, and here's what happened. I cut all these out, I painted them all in, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to even use these. So then I didn't use them, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use them. And as I went, I stuck all of them on but one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them all out again. And we'll see what we end up using. So these little ones fit in here. And I used them one at a time. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to use them all. And then I just kept sticking them on. And before you knew it, literally everything but one of these. Yeah, I still have one of those I didn't stick on. So if I'd cut this a little better, maybe I could get them all in here. So I'm not going to cut this one out because I still have one. So if we get to the card and we find out that we need those, I will just use the one I already had. So I'm going to run these through my die cut machine. If you haven't seen that before, I have lots of videos where I run these through the die cut machine. So I'm going to run these through. Okay, so here is the pretty bevel. I already have ink on my hands. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So I will be using this all the time on all kinds of sentiments that fit. And so then the rest of these cut out. So here's kind of what happened. As you can see, this cuts a beautiful circle. And when I put the whole circle on my card, then it covered up the pretty paper. And you know, I have that gorgeous specialty paper on the back. And so I didn't want the whole thing to be covered up. So then I started cutting it apart. And then it just wasn't quite enough leaves. So then I just kept adding more and more. And before you know it, I'd stuck them all on. So let me rip this out. Not rip it, but... And then part of the reason I colored on my table, well, I didn't color, I just stamped. I did everything just straight on my table at retreat for the most part. There were a couple of times when I did get some scrap typing paper out because I'm out of grid paper, the small grid paper, and it is coming. So because my husband freshly painted the table, I'm going to use this. So I'm going to take my water painter and my Soft Succulent. And then I just have some water here because I don't want to get it too wet. So this way I'm just going to dip it in here. And then I want it to be light Soft Succulent. Like I don't want it to be super, super dark green. So that way you can get water and you can kind of control it down here. I've just squished my pad together. At one point you can tell I just added a drop of refill up here, so you can kind of control how soft your succulent is. And now because I have this, my table, maybe I'll do this for a while. Maybe this time he paints my table 2 or 3, 4 times a year. It's, you know, it's easier than messing with scrap paper all the time. It's good for the environment, right? Because I have the thing of paint, so we just keep painting it the same thing of paint. I don't waste paper all the time. Obviously, I've been out of grid paper. It's one of those things, like this time I think I bought 4 packages of it. So it lasts a very long time. So every time I run out of a package, I just go over to my cabinet and I grab another package. So when you have that much, you just assume it's going to last for a really long time. And then when it's out, I'm like, well, I didn't know it's out. It's kind of like what happens if you buy toilet paper in bulk, huh? Especially when there's just 2 of you and your kids are gone. And you're like, how the heck did we run out of a Costco size pack of toilet paper? A little bit worse when it's toilet paper than scrap paper. I don't really like using typing paper that has type on it, because then if it gets wet, it can make type go on the other side of my table. So this has like now all kinds of shades of the green, and I'm fine with that. So get that out. Here's the one that I didn't use before, so we'll just keep that. And you can, all of those didn't pop out, but that's okay. And then here's these 3 little ones. So somewhere I have the one, it must be under the, yeah, it's down there, the one I didn't use. So here's these 3. Just kind of dab some on here. I don't know whether if I want to do my color video yet next, or I have an idea for the little bird with the bird punch. I have an idea for almost all of the stamps, except for the one with the vellum, because it's different. That's the one that's kind of stumped me. So I have our Blushing Bride. And then I'm going to use Seal Plus. It's kind of an overkill for some of this, but I'm going to need it in a second. So I'm just going to add it to the edges. You don't need Seal Plus to put this paper down by any stretch of the imagination. It just is because I'm going to need it in a second. And because I already have a lot of things on the table because I didn't clean up from the unboxing, the last thing I need to have is a whole bunch of adhesive. Now I am going to use the Soft Succulent ribbon, the satin ribbon that is in the January to June mini catalog here. And I've done it a little long. And so we're going to just go 2 colors. There's 2 colors on this card. And so this is when I need the Seal Plus. So I'm going to stop about right here. I can always add more, but I don't want there to be too much. And I'm going to kind of ruche this, not at the top, go about maybe 1/3 of the way down, about right here. And then this is why you need the Seal Plus to hold this. And then I can either add more, and I'm going to, so this kind of holds this flat here. My other one I didn't quite cut long enough. So now we have that fun little thing. This is kind of a romantic, it kind of gives me the 40s, 30s vibes. And then I'm gonna go, this beautiful stamp right here kind of gets covered up. So on this one, I might go a little bit higher. So you're either gonna cover up some of your beautiful stamping, or you're gonna cover up some of your beautiful background paper. So we're just gonna pretend we're halfway through the catalog year, and this is not the novelty that it is now. We've gotten a little bit more used to it, and so we're okay covering a little bit more up. So stick this here. And because it's this Seal Plus, I don't have to put as much, and it'll hold it well. So before I had, see when you put this on, it's just so much. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna put a little bit. So I just cut a little bit. And this is where it kind of started. So I'm gonna do it again. And it was dry last time because I was uploading and downloading and all the loadings that required me to get that other video up. So let's do this little piece here. And we can add it kind of here. And poke out any of the little tiny pieces that, I mean, some of them are gonna fall out when we do the cutting, so I'm not going to take time poking things that are going to fall out on their own. So I'm going to put that here. And again, Sail Plus will hold it super well. So you can be a little bit sparing in your, it's also a little bit tricky when your paper's wet, but you don't have to put as much adhesive as if you were using Seal. So I'm going to put that there. I like the way it's all draping that direction. And then let's do one that goes, this is going to go a different direction because I kind of now know what I want it to look like. I only used 2 and I cut this one. It was cut again. I might not be able to recreate it quite the same way. So let's go here. This time I'm going to just put it on a little bit on my card. Right there. Before I press it down, make sure it's not hanging off the side of my card. And I'm going to take dimensionals. This has a lot of different adhesive pieces. And you know, if you do one of my online classes, then you can always add the adhesive bundle. So then you get all of these pieces. So this will let us slide some of the next pieces underneath. And I'm not done with my stamp pad, I just realized. Let's take our label and we'll just put it here, and then we can kind of build everything else up around this. So we have this, and then we have this piece. Here. And I may have to cut this to get it to kind of fit where I want. And you can see where they kind of join. I don't want to hack a leaf in half. I'm just kind of wherever they join. And if I don't need to use it all, I don't need to use it all. You can always put a piece on the inside. So I'm going to put them in like this. And I might not use that other piece on this one. It'll show a little bit more of our paper if we don't have to put it all on there. So we have all these pieces still. And this one is the one that I had last time that I painted green. And this one I did is white. So you can kind of put a white one on here if you want to kind of, I think I'll do that. So that white kind of lightens that up. I'm going to save that. And then with these little ones, I decided I did want a little bit of pink. Now there's nothing on here that really is a flower, but that's okay. We can kind of just create one. So get your Blushing Bride. And I'm just gonna leave these on here. I'll take my bone folder. Just kind of tap them on, just so it gets the tips. It just adds a little bit of Blushing Bride to the inside, and then just stick them on with glue dots. Then when you stick it down, that's part of the reason I use the dimensionals, so it can stick up to that. And it just adds a very, very faint. I'm just going to do 2 of these. My other one has all 3 of them. I'm just going to get my hands dirty. Just a little bit. Stick that under there and just kind of press it, and then that'll grab the glue dot. Now, this is one of the new ribbons. It's beautiful, and it is the sweet sorbet. I think it looks like our old strawberry. And it's also, if you remember when we had the copper ribbon, now the copper ribbon was thicker, I think it was maybe another 1/4 inch thicker than this, but it used to ruche nicely as well. And at first I just had it on here, but it needed some more. That's why I put thicker ribbon. You can always use 2 or 3 different ribbons on a card. I'm going to cut about here. My other one has 2 pieces on it because my first one was a little short, so I just added another one. So you're just going to take one of the threads in the middle here and just pull that. It's like a tinsely ribbon. And I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to go to this side, and I'm going to get one of the threads in the middle. It's probably not going to be the same one, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. So you have that one, then just kind of go until you get them in the middle. And you see you can make it go a little fat. You can make it a little netting. You're going to cut these 2 that you're pulling off. But if you just go one way, then it's hard to get it so it's like it's all going to end up on one side. And then this is another good use for that Seal Plus. I'm gonna add a little bit there. Just gonna kind of drape it around here. You can use glue dots as well. But I'm going to try to get the ends. And I'm going to try to open it up so it's a little bit wider. See how it opens? And as long as you have those ends, then it's not going to like fall apart on your card. Let's put this one over here. Kind of open it up so it's wider as well. Just as a real pretty look. And you don't have to tie a bow. I don't have enough further over here. There we go. And just trim those two strings that you were pulling off. So this is new, this is old. And then the embellishments that we had, there were like some rust ones, and then there were some super bright ones. So these are the ones that my girls are getting in Card Club this month, the polished dots. And they look really nice with this. So I'm gonna go with 5, because you can do odd numbers. And this one, to really see them, they're clear, and then this really pale pink. So I'm gonna do 5, so do 2 on the label, and then 3 just kind of around. Super pretty, and just kind of adds to that nice romantic feeling of the card. So isn't it pretty? I'll try to get an up-close picture so you can really kind of see that background paper, but this ribbon's pretty. And I loved that copper ribbon. That was one of my favorite ribbons. So when I took it out, like when I saw it in here, there's the other colors of it, I thought it was more tinselly trim, kind of like what you might put on a package. But then when I took it out, because the copper was thicker, as soon as I took it out and I saw this, I'm like, oh, it's the copper trim come back in color form. So here's my other one. So you can see this one just has a bit more on it. You can do it either way. You can put these on the inside. You can save them for another card. You don't have to cut them all out at the same time. So, oh, I did do one more little step, and it's kind of up to you. I did it on this one. I'm not going to do it on here. On this one, I splattered with my succulent blend because there ended up being so much green on here. I felt like the tag kind of got too white. Adding this white flower here kind of pulled the white back into it. So you don't have to, you can. You know, I'm a big fan of the splatter. So there you go. So now I wish I could ask you, that's the disadvantage to not going live. I like to not go live because technology fails you, and lives can be so stressful when it doesn't go well. And the whole, the 5 minutes at the beginning, making sure everything goes well. But I'd like to see, should I do the color comparison, or should I move to the bird? I think I might move to the bird. And then I'll do the color comparison after that. So many stamps, so little time, and those taxes, you know, they can wait. I'll get them done by the end of the week. And my financial planner said it's best to file an extension. I don't know if he was joking with me, but that's what he told me. He said it's okay if I do it like on the 18th. So there you go. Everybody have a great day, and I'll catch you back here later. Bye.